episode of Under the Working Lamp. My name is Nate Zietze, the host of the show, and today we have Mr. Mark VanderWerf with us. Mr. VanderWerf, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Of course, I'm glad to see you. So how you doing? I mean, we are, 2.5 or so weeks in to online school, to social distancing. Like, what's going through your head right now?
Yeah, I used to think I was an introvert, and now I'm second guessing my introversion. So yeah, most of my working time is stuck here in the basement, and this is my son's bedroom. And so it's the curse of a small house. My wife is upstairs working. I'm here. My boys are in the other room being pacified with some TV show that I have no idea what they're watching. So I find myself living in my basement and kind of feel like a hermit.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. Yeah, my wife's working from home too. We don't have any kids, but she's upstairs and I'm stuck down in the basement. So feeling kind of that same energy.
The upstairs downstairs world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old are your kids again?
Oldest is 11, 9, and 5. So
okay.
5th grade, 3rd grade, and preschool.
Okay. I mean, so you and your wife are definitely very busy. Not only with, I'm sure, your own work and everything, but with now kind of being a teacher at home for your kids. How's that going? I mean, has it been hard or easier than you thought, or what?
It's been a roller coaster. I realize that I'm not an elementary school teacher. That I know. And talking to you as a math teacher, when they come home with their math, or not come home, but when they come downstairs with their math questions, I realize I don't know very much math, even 5th grade math. It's going okay.
Yeah, and I think there's a big difference too. I've talked to a few, parents that are like, I understand how to do, like, I understand the math they're doing, but how do I teach it? How do I actually explain what to do?
Yeah. So it's going okay. There are days where it goes well, and there are days where there are tears. Mm-hmm. It's a roller coaster. So
what sorts of things have you, besides work and school type things, what other types of things have you as a family been doing to stay busy?
Play a lot of basketball out in our backyard. Got a basketball hoop out there, and so we play a lot of basketball. We were big Michigan State Spartan fans, and so we've kind of rehearsed March Madness in our backyard. So far, Michigan State's still advancing, so they advanced to the Final Four. Actually, last night we replayed last year's Michigan State Duke game, which is a classic, because we watched that last night.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that they should start airing a ton of old March Madness games. That would be interesting.
Well, they are. They are. I think CBS Sports, Big Ten Network, they've been playing old games. I think actually yesterday was the classic 1979 Michigan State with Magic Johnson and Indiana with Larry Bird. I think they aired that yesterday. So we've been doing a lot of basketball, and then going out for hikes as much as we can. Mountain biking.
Where you've been going hiking?
Earlier on we went to a whole bunch of parks, like Seaman Park. We went out there. Went to Pickerel Lake. I'm blanking now on where else we've gone, but now I don't know. I don't know if we're supposed to drive anymore, and so I kind of feel guilty. Yeah, I kind of feel guilty if we end up driving to a park.
Mm-hmm.
So right now we stick around Elder Heights, Ken O'Shea Trails,
mm-hmm.
the underground over by school. Been smashing pennies on the railroad tracks. So I don't know if you're supposed to do that, but taught my kids how to smash pennies.
I won't tell. Don't worry.
Okay.
What other types of things have just you been doing? Have you been watching some TV shows, or what? Or books that you're reading? What do you got going? Just yourself?
Yeah, you know what? I am not a very good TV watcher. So when we sit in the faculty lounge and people share stories about what shows they're watching, I don't watch TV.
Really? That's because I'm all about all about TV.
Yeah, I know. See, I hear you tell all these stories about these shows you watch. I'm like, I have no idea. So I guess I'm supposed to be watching Tiger King.
Tiger King is the big one right now. I mean, if you're gonna dive into it, and that's more like almost a documentary mini series type thing instead of like a storyline show. It's just, and to me that one is just, we just finished it this past week, and it's sad, but it's so captivating at the same time. Like you can't even believe that there are people like this. Like these are real people, right? And
Yeah.
real things that have happened.
Yep. So I probably should start watching TV. Tiger King, you recommend it?
I do. Yeah, I would. I mean, you got the time now, so might as well.
Yep. So I do like to read, although I feel like I can't stay focused, and I feel like I should have the time and focus to read, and I just kind of find myself jumping from one thing to the next. And now that the library is closed, I feel like I can't get new books, so I'm just going through the books on my bookshelf, and for whatever reason, I find them.
What have you read so far? What's kind of interesting to you right now?
What did I just read? I'm reading a book on pastors as being poets. So that's kind of the pastoral call.
I'm sure kids are just so intrigued by that,
Yeah, exactly. I'm reading one on the political theology of Africa. So,
well, you got Rwanda and everything, and
exactly
that you've done, and that's got to be interesting.
So here's what I struggle is most of my books in my home are nonfiction, and so I go to the library to get my fiction books, and I can't go to the library anymore, and so I'm stuck with all my nonfiction books.
Yikes!
And it's not particularly interesting.
Boy. Are you a Harry Potter guy, just out of curiosity?
See, here's the thing. I've never read Harry Potter.
Never read? Are you curious? No. Oh, okay, now is the perfect time. You need to borrow them? I have all the books.
Well, my boys have them. They're actually, you can see them in the back there.
There is no excuse. Now is the time. Yeah. You don't have any fiction, then.
That's true. I should. You're right. I will. That's what I'll pick up. I'll pick up Harry Potter.
You've never read Harry? I mean, I guess. Okay.
Well, I think it happened. It was like in this window when they came out. It was at the end of my high school years.
But even with your boys, though, too, like you haven't picked them up with your kids at all, or not?
My oldest has read up to book 5, I think, and book 1 I read to him. But here's the reality: I have no idea what I was reading. I just
you were just reading.
I sat on the couch and I read, but my mind was other places. It was just kind of like a thing to bring him to bed.
You were just a speaker at that point.
Yeah, exactly. I had no idea what was going on.
Did you do voices? Is my question when you read the book. I tried
to. And actually, is there like a character like Dobby or something like that?
Yeah, Dobby. Yep.
Yeah.
Great character.
So I had a good voice for Dobby, but I don't know what he was doing. Some little character, I guess. I don't know. Did he have big ears?
Yep, big ears. He's a little house elf, you call him, the little servant. Yeah, they're kind of unfortunately like the slaves of the magical world, and so there's like a whole thing about getting fair wages, and Hermione advocates strongly for house elves.
So I have not watched the movies. I have not read the books.
Man, you're missing out.
You've given me something to do. Thank you. I found hope in this time to read Harry Potter.
Nice.
Perfect.
What about speaking of like other stories like that? I mean, have you read the big ones in my mind, at least for me, are like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, and Chronicles of Narnia. Have you read those other two or not?
Yep. Chronicles of Narnia. One of my favorites.
I would assume. I mean, you're a religion teacher. You have to.
That's right. You kind of have to.
C.S. Lewis.
give your nod to C.S. Lewis, right? You can't teach a group as Christian without liking C.S. Lewis.
Exactly.
No, I read the Narnia books repeatedly. Read those with my kids. Lord of the Rings read. Although I prefer The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings.
Interesting.
I like the speed of the Hobbits. I like kind of the lightheartedness of the Hobbits over the kind of plotting nature of the Lord of the Rings.
That's true. It is definitely more of a story, like for I guess not not kids necessarily, but it's
Yeah.
a lot, like you said, more lighthearted in that sense.
Yeah. And you can't beat the Lord of the Rings for the depth and
Yeah.
the epicness of it. But I've actually taught a course at school during Winterim a few times on the Hobbit, where we just go through the Hobbit.
All right. Sweet. Well, you have a few things that you can do now, at least. I hope,
Yeah.
gave you that
No,
idea.
I feel really good about this. I feel like this is giving me meaning and
Sweet.
purpose
And then,
to spring break
you
coming
know, what
up.
we can do then is like in a couple weeks, we can meet back after you've read a few of them and we can
We should
discuss it all,
do a little book review
Yeah.
on Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead.
I don't know, are religion teachers allowed to read Harry Potter because they're like sorcery and like
That's a good question.
witchcraft?
Because I do know, like, I mean, when I grew up, when Harry Potter, like, I grew up like almost as the books were coming out, right? And so,
Because you're young.
yeah, I'm so young. But like I remember, yeah, like getting up, going at midnight, get the books like late at night, and it was awesome. But I remember there were like, peers of mine, like other kids who were not allowed to read. Because of that reason, like their parents just said like, it was non-Christian and
Right.
yeah, but I don't know if has that changed at all or not. I don't know if that's
That's
still
a
a
good
thing.
question. I don't know. Well, I'll read them and let you know.
Okay, sounds good. You can give us an official
Yeah.
DRC review of Harry Potter or something like that.
Perfect. Sounds good. I like it.
All right, I got one more question. Then I want to do a little lightning round with you here too. But one more kind of, I guess, more serious question. But kind of in this time here, do you have any wisdom or any pieces of advice for our students at a time like this? Or, I mean, to me, I'm still just processing a lot of this myself, right?
Yeah.
But do you have, as now our chaplain and a religion teacher, what wisdom do you offer to our kids?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. And I think we're all navigating it together. Uh, I think one thing that I would say, and this is true for students, true for all of us, we started talking about this as social distancing. And I think, I forget where I heard this. Actually, I think it was Dr. London from the Kent County Health Department. I watch his updates in Kent County, and he says, I think that was a mistake to call it social distancing. We should call it physical distancing in social connection. And so I think one thing that I would encourage all of us to think about are ways in which we can socially connect with people. It's hard. It's hard to be isolated. It's hard to be separate from one another. And so it's not the time to disconnect, but I think this is even more a time to connect and to care for each other. So I found myself reaching out to old friends that I haven't reached out to in a while. Send them a text, give a phone call, and just connect with people that I haven't typically connected with. Check in on people that might need to be checked in on. So that's one thing, I think, to stay connected.
That's some solid.
I think another thing is, I mean, this is it's a big deal. It's changing all of our lives, and I think to not let that go to waste, but actually to pay attention to kind of what's going on inside of us. What are our fears? What are our worries? What are our anxieties? And to pay attention to those things. I know my temptation is to go on social media and kind of numb myself, but actually to pay attention to those feelings and those things that are going on, and actually reconnect to ourselves. So reconnect to others, reconnect to ourselves, and then as chaplain, as Bible teacher, I'll say take the opportunity to maybe pick a book of the Bible and read through it. Maybe Philippians, which talks a lot about joy, and we need a lot of joy right now. Maybe pick a psalm, Psalm 91, for instance, and simply reread that psalm. So find times to connect with others, connect with ourselves, and connect with God.
Look at that 3-point sermon right there.
Yeah,
Perfect.
off the top of my head.
That's awesome. All right, sweet. Well, thank you for that. Those words of wisdom. Very much appreciate that. Now to end something with a little silliness here, at least. We're going to play a little lightning round here, and you have to answer these questions. I think I have like 15 of them here. You have to answer these
Are
questions.
these teen slang words?
Nope, don't worry. Not teen slang words. No, you're not. Gonna...
I watched that video, and I was disappointed with my colleagues because I'm like, come on, people.
You knew everything that was going on? Well, I'll have to have you on.
I was throwing shade at my colleagues for not knowing these things.
You know, casting shadows is the
casting shadows.
Casting shadows. Mrs. Gunning, right? All right, but here are your questions. See if you can answer as quickly as possible. All right, number one, would you rather be able to fly or be invisible?
Fly.
Would you rather teach like this for another 10 years or only have freshmen for the rest of your career?
I love freshmen.
I don't. Tolkien or Lewis?
Oh. Lewis. That's hard.
Would you rather go camping or go on a cruise?
Camping, no question.
Okay. If you had to pick one song that you could listen to for the rest of your life, that was the only song you could ever listen to ever again, what song would it be?
Yellow Ledbetter by Pearl Jam.
Oh, it's quick. All right. I don't know that song. I'll have to look it up.
You should look it up. Here's the reason why. No one has any idea what the lyrics are, so every time you listen to it, it could be a different song.
But there you go. That's a great reason. Speaking of music, can you name a Billie Eilish song?
Say it again.
Billie Eilish. Do you know who that is?
No idea.
Never mind that. Would you rather be a famous musician or be a famous author?
Author.
St. Patrick or St. Valentine?
Ooh. We'll go Patrick.
Twizzlers or red vines? And there's only one right answer here.
We'll go Twizzlers.
Good job. Okay, you answered correctly. We can still be friends. What is your favorite color?
Red vine has like that nasty like aftertaste. Like,
oh yeah, and it's just so terrible overall. The flavor is just awful. Yeah. What's your favorite color though?
Blue.
Blue. What is your favorite candy overall?
I'd say a Reese's Pieces cup.
Nice. If you could have a meal with one biblical character besides Jesus, who would it be?
One biblical character besides Jesus. I'll go Paul. I like Paul a lot.
Okay. Who's your best teacher friend on staff?
Oh, is that a fair question? That's not a fair question.
Oh, you just got to answer. Who's your best friend on staff? Go.
I'll say Larry.
Okay, Larry. He's a solid one.
Yep.
2 more questions. How many speeding tickets have you gotten?
Oh, my boys and I just played Truth or Dare two truths and a lie, whatever the game's called. And this was one of the things. I've never gotten a speeding ticket.
Wow. Goody two shoes over there.
Well, it doesn't mean I've never gotten pulled over.
Oh, okay. That's a separate issue. All right. Last question for you. Edward or Jacob?
See, I don't know what you're talking about.
Edward or Jacob? You got to choose one.
I feel like this is from one of those books that I didn't read. And so I don't know. I feel like I'm getting myself into
Edward or Jacob.
We're just going to go say Jacob.
Good call. Okay, that is the correct answer. Jacob, it's the correct answer. All right. Well, thank you, Mr. VanderWerf, for your time. Appreciate you coming on the show, and hope that you and your family stay safe and are continuing to do well.
Sure. You likewise. Hope you're doing all right. Enjoy your spring break.
Thanks, and you as well. And to all our viewers, thank you for watching another episode. Stay safe and join us next time for another episode of Under the Working Lamp.